What is up, my butter biscuits? Y'all, I do apologize again that I'm gonna be wearing like the same clothes. I am literally pre-filming. So I filmed 3 videos yesterday. I'm filming 3 videos today. So it's gonna be very repetitive. However, I need to pre-film because I'm actually going to be getting my first like session of microneedling, which by the way, let me just tell you guys, I'm a little bit nervous. Like a nurse practitioner had to call me and like ask me all these questions to like clear me. And I was sitting over here like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that big of a deal. But I guess it's because they're like taking a little bit of my blood to like put back into my face. I don't know, y'all, but it made me a little bit nervous. And on top of that, too, she was saying, like, oh, if you eat this, and this, you could bruise. Garlic was on the list. Ginseng was on the list. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really didn't know that, like, microneedling was that extensive. I just kind of thought it was just, you know, in and out and done. And then she said that you can be, like, red and, like, bruised for up to 10 days. So I was like, oh my gosh, y'all. So I'm not going to wear makeup for a little bit. And on top of that, too, I am going to be going back to Phoenix. You guys know I go out there to visit my brother. So I do apologize for all the pre-filming, but it is necessary so that way I continue uploading. And I'm doing pretty good if I do say so myself. I'm actually like really proud of myself that I'm like staying on it. I said like a week ago I was thinking about doing daily uploads, and I haven't really done daily uploads, but y'all, I've been uploading like 5 videos a week, which is pretty good. So I'm really, really happy for that. Also on my second channel, y'all, I uploaded a new Epcot vlog, which I was super excited about because I don't know, I kind of was a little bit nervous after the first one because y'all, my first like Disney World, Hollywood Studios, whatever it's called over there vlog, I was like, it was a little bit of a mess, y'all. It was a little bit of a mess. But then my Epcot one turned out pretty good. So I was really excited for it. So make sure you guys go check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. I would really appreciate it. And make sure you guys give the videos over there a big thumbs up. As you guys can tell by the title of today's video, this is my anti-haul. And I do want to say I'm actually kind of surprised that there is not too many makeup products. I want to say maybe I have about 7 or 8 within today's list. There's really not that much. I feel like for the month of October, there's really not too many releases. I feel like because then in November and December, there's so many holiday launches and fall launches. So I don't know. I kind of feel like October is a little bit of an in-between area. They come out with a little bit of like Halloween collections, and then that's pretty much it. So we are going to be talking about my anti-haul today, which if you guys do not know is just makeup that I'm not going to be purchasing for various reasons. Also, there was another thing that I was going to tell you guys that I literally completely forgot, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. If you guys are interested in this video, make sure you guys keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up. I just remembered, y'all. I just remembered. It is starting to cool down now. So in the next couple of weeks after I get back from Phoenix, I'm really hoping that it stays cool because I am going to be doing more makeup videos. I'm going to do an updated like full face of favorites. I went makeup shopping about a month ago, y'all, and I have legit not touched that makeup because I have been waiting to do a full face of like new makeup. And I've been dying to touch. I'm looking at some of the things right here and I'm like, oh, I've been dying to do it. It's just been way too hot. So as soon as it does cool down officially, I will be getting back into like tutorials and reviews and like trying on, and like I do hope to throw in a story time. Don't hold me to it, y'all. I know I said at the beginning of the year that I will be doing story times while I like do a get ready with me. I'm gonna try to do it. We'll see how that goes, but just make sure you guys stay tuned because now that we're officially getting into the fall, y'all, oh my gosh, which I hope it stays that way because over the past couple weeks, it's been staying in the like mid 80s, and I'm just like, oh, can we go down to the 70s, please? I will be getting back into makeup, I promise. So make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, to start off this anti-haul, I actually did a full video about this. Only because I had like way too many thoughts and opinions about this collection to just narrow it down to my anti-haul. I was like, I can make a full like 30-minute video about this collection. This is the RuPaul collection right here from Superdrug, which is a drugstore, I believe, in the UK. I don't know why I was gonna say Ireland. I mean, Ireland's part of the UK, right? So like that makes sense. But I don't know why I was gonna say Ireland, but it is from the UK. And honestly, y'all, this collection, the whole entire collection, just really let me down. I expected so much more from RuPaul, but like I said, I did do a full my thoughts and opinions video about that. So if you guys are interested, just go back on my channel and check it out. Cause I was sitting over here like, what is going on with RuPaul? Like, what are you doing putting out this collection? I'm sorry, it just looks so cheap. It looks so tacky. Just the price points are very good. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, it needs to be the best packaging ever. But like even the color stories, the whole layout of everything, I just don't like it. This collection to me was a major, major flop, and I am just not for it. So legit, anything on this RuPaul collection, I would not get, even though it is very affordable. I will give them that. Like, most of the things are between like 12 and 25 bucks, and the things that are 25 are like a full lookbook. I just don't know. I just don't like it. I thought it was very, very cheap looking. Now, y'all know that I do love Viseart. I feel like Viseart is kind of a little bit of a slept on brand. I do feel like a lot of professional makeup artists out there rave about Viseart, but I feel like a lot of people on social media don't rave about Viseart. And I think that's because for the longest period of time, their packaging is just very, very cheap. You guys know that I've talked about Viseart several times on my channel. There's a couple palettes that shout out to Renelle Smith. She actually sent me, because for the longest time I wanted me a Viseart palette. I worked with so many artists who swore by them, and I could see the quality in front of my eyes, y'all. Like when I used to work at the makeup school, I used to be like recording videos, and so many of the instructors there were using Viseart, and I'm like, damn, like these blend out so easy, so smooth, they're so buttery. So shout out to Renelle Smith. She actually sent me some from like my first Viseart palettes, and I immediately fell in love. The quality is there, however the packaging is just so extremely cheap, and on top of that too, it doesn't really grasp like the attention of the everyday consumer. Yes, obviously to professional makeup artists it made a lot of sense because it does have that clear top packaging, so it's very easy to see within your whole collection, you know, or in your makeup cases, you know. It's very easy obviously to navigate with that palette and be able to see, okay, this is my Viseart neutral palette and my warm palette. Like I totally get it. However, I really do feel like this day and age, a lot of brands out there, and not even just with makeup, but just any brand in general, they really need to hone in on every single consumer that they can get. So that's where I feel like for the longest period of time, Viseart really did struggle. And I want to say, y'all, like I probably should have looked up the price point of the palettes that I have. I want to say they were in the like 80 bucks, like 85 bucks. I could have sworn they're really, really expensive. This palette right here, which I do not know how to pronounce the name, but it is the Endou palette. It's only $44. So I will say, hey, kudos to them on lowering the price, which I'm actually really surprised about. I was reading all over Trendmood to see if this was a mini palette, because I was a little bit thrown back by this, because I was like, wait, I know their palettes are not only $44. Like I know they're way more expensive than that. So I'm really kind of confused about this palette. However, I want to say kudos to them for like lowering their prices. If this is a full-size palette, if it's a mini, then obviously I expect it to be around that price. So if this is a full-size palette for $44, that is pretty good if this is their same quality. However, I do not like the color story to this. I just feel like it is very bland and kind of dry. And honestly, y'all, I have never tried Viseart's shimmery shadow. So yes, I don't have those shimmers, but I do have every single one of those colors of shimmer in so many other different palettes, like so many other palettes. I probably have like, y'all, especially like that golden tone right there and the bronze tone and the silvery tone. Like I probably have, I would say legit, I'm not even exaggerating, at least probably like 25 of them from like various different brands. So that's why I'm like, with this palette right here, I'm just kind of like, eh. Although I will say, if you guys don't have these shades, maybe this would be a good time for you to try Viseart, especially being that it says right here on Trendmood that this is only $44. I can't vouch for their shimmer formula. However, their matte formula is probably one of the best. Not as good as Hindash though. I do have to say Hindash matte formula to me is by far the #1 best. I am absolutely just in love with that formula. Like the fact that it builds up so well, blends out so easily. There is absolutely no kickback, no fallout, so you're not wasting any product. Like Hindash is #1, but legit, I think Viseart's mattes are #2 in my book. I really feel like they're really good. However, I just don't care for the color story of this palette, only because I pretty much have everything, so I would not get this. Next up on the list, y'all, I completely forgot to mention in the beginning of this video that there is just like so many eyeshadow palettes within this anti-haul. It has been a hot minute since I've had a gang of I was gonna say gang of anti-hauls, a gang of eyeshadow palettes in my anti-hauls. There was a period there where I felt like almost like 3 months in a row that I was like, oh my gosh, it is like 98% eyeshadow palettes in my anti-haul. It's been a while though since that. However, this month I'm just seeing a lot of eyeshadow palettes that I don't like. This right here is the Troublemaker collection by Colourpop, and I want to say, okay, those Luxe Velvet Matte Lips, every single one of those shades I feel like looks absolutely beautiful. I've never tried their Luxe formula before. These only retail for $9, so I definitely should try some out. Those colors right there, absolutely beautiful. The main thing that I'm talking about right here is the eyeshadow palette. To me, I do understand obviously it's supposed to be a little bit more of a cool tone palette. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. It's not something that I'm going to lean towards. It's not something I'm going to use on an everyday basis. I totally get the vibe here. I do actually like the packaging of it. However, I just don't like the color story. And I feel like, once again, like I know it's obviously very hard for Colourpop to step away from the eyeshadow palettes because like it's so easy for them to make them, being that they do make those eyeshadows basically in their factory and then just bam, like they pretty much make them to order, kind of like the vibe that I got from them. So I get it. It's very easy for them to make eyeshadow palettes. However, I feel like they need to step away from that. They need to look into like more blush palettes and maybe even like face palettes and just like different things, you know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't it be cool like if they were to come out with like customizable palettes that had kind of like, let's say for example, like a setting powder in there with a blush and a bronzer, and it was like a trio and it was the shape of a triangle. I just give them a bomb idea, like come out with things like that. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like it's going to be a little bit different than your same old repetitive palette. I can't think of a palette of theirs that actually does have the same exact color story. However, I'm very sure that they do have something very similar to it. I just don't like this. And on top of that too, the Jelly Much eyeshadows, I talked about this before in the Hocus Pocus collection. I don't know why I'm a little bit scared of those. I have not tried them. I did get it confused in my previous video with the Super Shock, because the Super Shock dries out. However, for some reason I can just already assume that these Jelly Much eyeshadows probably dry out really fast too, because the Super Shock shadows dry out super fast. I do kind of want to try them just that way I know, but I don't know. None of these colors in here I'm really even leaning towards. And y'all know I love some purples. I love purples on brown eyes. I feel like they really do make the eye pop. However, none of these, at least in this picture anyways, are kind of like I don't know, they're not like pulling me in. Do you know what I mean? The only thing in this collection that's pulling me in is those lips. Like I love literally every single one of those shades of lipstick. I feel like they are beautiful, but the rest of the collection is just blah. Here we have another palette. Okay, this one, I was thinking of how to describe it when I was like selecting this to put in this video, and I just can't think of how to describe it, but like I really don't like this palette whatsoever. This is from Kimchi Chic, and this is the Holly Fairy Tale. I really want to try Kimchi. I am eventually going to get some of his powders. I've been saying that for a long time now. However, I still have so many Huda Beauty powders. Y'all know I absolutely love those ones. So I'm kind of like waiting until I'm done with those to try his. I definitely will be trying them. However, I look towards his other stuff and I'm like, I want to try it, like his eyeshadows. I really do. But then I see stuff like this and I'm just not into this. I feel like this palette right here is so unnecessary. I don't know if I'm just going colorblind in my old age, but I feel like there are so many tones in here that look the same. They are just a smidge off. Like look at the yellow tones, y'all. Like they just look so similar. There are so many yellow tones in here that look similar. So many of the teals, so many of the blues, like everything just looks really repetitive. Yes, I totally get it. Obviously they are a little bit different, and I know a little bit of a difference can make a big difference. I totally get that. However, I just feel like a palette this big is just very unnecessary. I used to love this one palette. I forgot what the name of it was, from Violet Voss. It was a really big palette and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so perfect. You got your like warm tones in there, your cool tones in there, your colorful tones in there. Like you had a little bit of everything, and that to me makes a lot of sense. Even though a lot of people don't like to carry around a big palette because it does take up so much space, that makes sense though, because obviously you have every single tone that you need. This right here, I'm like, everything is very similar, so to me it comes across as very repetitive, and I just don't like these types of tones. I've said it before, when I was younger I used to be into pastels. However, I feel like every time I say pastels I say it's so weird. I'm not into pastels anymore, and I don't know, I just don't like this palette. So this is a no-go for me, y'all. I am so sorry, but here we have another eyeshadow palette. This one is actually from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is called the Glam To Go, and it's kind of like a mini palette. This retails for only $29. Okay, here's the thing. I look at these colors and I like them. I really do. I would use every single one of those colors, right? So this is where we get into this like fine line, and I see a lot of my comments of like people are like, oh my gosh, like that palette is beautiful. Like, why are you saying you're not going to buy it? You guys have to understand, I have been in the beauty industry for 14 years now, and throughout all the years I've accumulated so many palettes, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well too. So when I see palettes like this, I'm just kind of like, okay, this color story is pretty. Don't get me twisted. Like I really do look, like I look at the swatches, I think that it looks pretty. I like obviously that it's compact, it's very easy to travel with. Like I feel like this is something very quick and easy to throw in your bag if you're going to be traveling. Like it makes perfect sense. However, this has been done so many times before by so many brands, and that's why when I look at this stuff, to me it's just very repetitive, and that's where I'm like, I have to throw it in my anti-haul, because I would never purchase this, because I have so many palettes that have these colors, y'all. Like so many palettes. Like, are they pretty colors? Yes, absolutely. I really do feel like they are gorgeous shades. However, so many of us out there who have multiple palettes can relate to like, okay, we have this, like why would we get this? You know what I'm saying? And on top of that too, I want to say like $29 is not an expensive price. However, you can get a Colourpop palette with the same exact color story for like 13 bucks. And I feel like the quality is, honestly, I'm just keeping it real. Like I feel like the quality is kind of like the same. The only difference that I really saw within Anastasia Beverly Hills were the Norvina palettes. I was just so far beyond obsessed with those pressed pigment palettes, or the pro pigment palettes, whatever they call them. I feel like the formulation of that was so far different than the Anastasia Beverly Hills formula. I feel like the Anastasia formula to me just, I don't know, like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was horrible in the Subculture palette, y'all. I still remember that palette. Like, it's like legit the worst palette I've ever tried in my entire life. It was just so horrible. But as far as for the regular Anastasia Beverly Hills formula, I just think that it's okay. Like if I'm rating on a scale from 1 to 10, I would put it at a 6. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just okay. So that's why when I look at this color story, I'm like, I would tell all my friends or family members or whoever is asking for this type of like shades in a palette, I would say go to Colourpop, because I feel like the formula is obviously going to be the same in my personal opinion, and it's going to be literally 50% cheaper. So that's why I wouldn't get this. And I said it before while I was talking about the One Size Beauty Fantasia collection. I was like, y'all, like I really was like, I feel like I was walking on thin ice, because I really didn't want to come across offensive towards Patrick, because honestly I really do like him and I feel like he's really nice. I've met him a few times and he has legit always been super sweet. So I was like, I feel bad, but at the same time too, like my loyalty ain't towards Patrick, it's towards you guys, and I have to be honest with you guys and let you guys know that I'm like, okay, like, yeah, is this collection cute? Yeah, but has it been done 500 times before? Yes, there's nothing special about it. Do you know what I mean? And then literally right after I posted that video, the very next day, Ulta announced that they were coming out with this Disney collection, and I was like, see, exactly. And so many of you guys were actually tagging me in the comment section on Trend Mood as well as Ulta, and I'm like, exactly, like, you see what I'm saying? Like there's just so many Disney collections that I feel like there's such a massive oversaturation of Disney stuff, and I look at this and I'm just like, okay, it's just super overwhelming. Do you know what I mean? Like I look at this and I'm like, okay, yeah, is it cool to have a palette in the shape of a castle? Sure. But like, do you really need it? No. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe unless you guys are like diehard Disney fans, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I feel like that palette right there I would like buy for my sister. She will never use it because she never puts on eyeshadow. However, she loves Disney so much that she would really enjoy that. But would I? Absolutely not. Like if I ever got this, I wouldn't want it. I know the quality is not going to be there up to my standards of like what I like. And on top of that too, I'm just not that big of a Disney fan. Do I like going to Disneyland? Yes, I do. But I'm not like a diehard Disney fan. And I just feel like stuff like this is just so repetitive. But I guess maybe it would make a really good gift for somebody who is obsessed with Disney. But I look at this and I'm just like, it kind of looks a little bit cheap to me. And on top of that too, I really am curious about those brushes right there, because the handle of the brushes, they look really cheap. However, the bristles look really good. So I'm like, this is throwing me off a little bit. So I'm like, I'm really curious about those brushes. But as for the rest of the collection, it's just a no for me. Okay, this next product right here, I feel like a lot of people actually would really want. And it kind of makes sense that Got2b is coming out with a Style and Fix brow gel, y'all. But my only thing with this is it's $20. It's $20, and I'm like, am I just tripping? Or like, I haven't had hair in so long that Got2b must have been like $4 back in the day when I had hair and used Got2b. So now I'm kind of like, why is this $20? And on top of that, am I the only person out there that does not like to use brow gel? It is very rare that I use a brow gel. If I'm going to be out all day, then I will put a brow gel on. However, if I'm just going out for the night and I'm just going to be having my makeup on for about like 4 hours, like I'm not going to put it on. I don't like that stiff, crunchy feeling on my brow. Do you know what I mean? Like it just feels weird to me and I don't like it. If I am going to, say for example, be at like Disneyland for the whole entire day and I'm going to be there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 at night, I will definitely put a brow gel on so that way my brows stay in place and I don't have to worry about them. Especially because me, y'all, like I know I never really comb up my brows. I just don't really like that style. My brows are so long. I literally trim them every single week and they just go like legit to where my beanie is right now. If I were to brush them up, the brow hairs would literally go up that high. I don't know why they're so long. Like I hate to see when I'm older, I'm going to look like Scrooge because they're all over the place. But anyways, yeah, I wouldn't get this not only because it's like $20, but because I just don't really care for brow gel too much. So it's just a no. And the last thing on the list right here, y'all, I didn't know how to put this into words. But this right here is the Snoopy collection from Wet n Wild. I didn't know how to put it into words because I feel like there's so many people out there that like really love Snoopy and I guess it's really nostalgic to them, but I don't know how to describe it because have you ever not liked something but you don't have a reason for it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, don't you feel that way about some people out there? Like, there's just some people that you don't like but you don't have a reason for it. You're just like, I don't like that person. And then somebody's like, well, why don't you like them? I don't know. I just don't like them. You know, that's how I feel about Snoopy and Peanuts. I just just don't like it. And on top of that, I look at this collection right here and I'm like, I don't like any of the colors. I don't like any of the packaging. It looks like way too much going on. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. Even like, okay, I like going to Knott's Berry Farm, but then I see Snoopy and I'm like, okay, what are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. So therefore I looked at this collection. I was like, absolutely not. Like, I don't think it's cute. I don't like the packaging. I don't like the color stories. I don't like any of it. So the whole entire collection's an absolute no to me. Anyways, that is it for my anti-haul. I kind of feel like it was a short one, but this video is super long because I talk so much. Y'all know how I go. Make sure you guys let me know what you plan on not purchasing this month. I really am curious because I feel like there wasn't too many big collections. I feel like there was just big Halloween collections, which totally makes sense. But regular collections, I don't really think so. So make sure you guys let me know in the comments below what you plan on not purchasing. Make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, Girl Scout.